Well, here we are. I'm just here to really explain why they fail. It's really the reptilian mind versus the human, the beautiful God mind that people can have through being human and through having a soul. The reptilian is, speaking about abominations, is an abomination in a sense. I mean, it's an abomination in the sense that that everything they do, everything they think of, I mean, for example, military uniforms, rote, command and control, brute force, bludgeoning people, forcing them to do what they, part of the feeding of the reptilian is to force their will on others. And because we can't see that, it shows that we're like Plato in the cave. All you see is the images on the wall. You don't know what real reality is. We don't know what it really is. We just see reflections. So we can't rely on our senses to know. We have to rely on that. People say the gut. Well, it's where God dwells within a person, and if God dwells within you, then you know all things. Then you know all this is false. And so the reason I'm mentioning all this is because you're about to see the rollout of these things, trying to act like we are your leaders. Even when they did the Series V, they were reptiles. They were Nazis. They had epaulets. They wanted to control humanity. It's all been very, very, very clear. Very clear. To say this doesn't exist makes you a real fool. Like guys that go and start citing books of psychologists and stuff to prove it's all, basically false memory syndrome. It's not false memory syndrome. Tom Mack proved that. Not Tom Mack, but what's his name? Mack, the psychiatrist from Harvard. What was his name? You remember. I mean, he proved it was all real. Anyone who's ever studied the Antarctica knows it's all real. It's all real. And everything is a deception. Everything's a lie. Everything in school is a lie. All the textbooks are lies. Everything that's in existence pretty much is a lie. So how do you see through it? Because the human is more intelligent than all the textbooks combined, which are mainly propaganda. So the Draco, is basically there, enslaving human, cloning human, doing all these things they can do, but the war is really with God, for the reptilian. The war, the real war, the militaristic, the use of fuels, nuclear bombs, is all reptilian. The reptilian mind is this rote brute force with complete lack of any kind of intellectual prowess.
Angels have blonde hair and blue eyes. Lucifer, the devil, has blue eyes. A lot of history, a lot of ancient history into there. The United States was supposed to become what it is, a superpower. It was going to become Satan's superpower on Earth. That's what it became, militarily. They dominated the Earth. They had bases everywhere. They were going to bring in the one world government. The United Nations is here. We have the strongest military in the world. And so you can imagine if all their focus was on the United States to become the military superpower, to bring in this one world government, how many bases are in our own country? The reptiles have nests everywhere. And what they do is prey on mankind. It's like we're like cattle to them. It's cattle. Millions of people go missing a year, and they're sacrificed by the Satanists. They're put in child trafficking rings, human slavery rings, and they're disappeared to underground bases and off-world bases. Wait for the final avalanche, the final onslaught for all these aliens to say, hey, we're here, because everybody keeps waiting for the invasion before they'll believe if they're here. They've always been here. Everyone's waiting. The New Age is waiting for the commencement of the 8th regime, the beginning of the New Age on Earth, that they're ascended masters and world teachers, blah, blah, blah. That's what they tell them. We're world teachers. We're ascended masters. No, we don't eat you in our dining bases. No, we're not going to stuff you in our freezers so we have a cache of human food. These people are so stupid. I actually had to do a video to warn them that this Sananda is not the Jesus of the Bible, because they all think he is. That's why you find so many Christians involved with the New Age movement. You're like, what are you doing? That is not the Son of God. They think that Sananda, the fake Jesus, is the real Son of God. Buying into the hogwash. And then when you catch a look at these supposed Christians that are the biggest cheerleaders for Sananda, this whole New Age thing, they got black eyes. They're black eyes. And then there's this huge push online, everywhere on message boards and everywhere else, videos telling people the mark of the beast isn't the chip. Do you know how many millions of people are going to get thrown in hell because they won't go to the Father direct and ask him about it? They just so easily influenced by other people what to believe. It's a mess. It really is a mess. And the one thing the Father's been wanting me to get across is how we're surrounded by fakes. All these fake humans. Fakes, fakes, fakes. And you go from one level to the next of what they're doing, the technologies they're using, and what they're doing to humans. Because they're replacing humans with clones and synthetics and lookalikes. And then you go up a level and you realize, you learn that they're sticking the real ones on underground bases to become directors, the surrogates, the ones that are on Earth. I was amazed that that movie, there was even a movie like that. I'm trying to describe to people what I've been shown, and they send you these movie clips, and it's like, wow, I can't even believe that they made that. They always spin it, of course. They always put their Hollywood entertainment spin, like, oh, look, this is for entertainment. But at least it's out there. You know, they have a contract. Hollywood has a contract with the CIA. When the CIA puts out movies to reveal what's going on, you have to understand, folks, that the CIA is not a human agency. The CIA is a reptile agency. It's a reptilian agency. The ones at the very top are reptiles. It's all family bloodline. That's how you get into the CIA, your bloodline. Illuminati bloodline are alien bloodline families. Deep state. Reptilian. It's all reptilian. And then regime coming in is tall grays. The ascended masters are all tall grays. Sananda and Maitreya, Germain and all them, they're tall grays. The bodies that you see them having, the tall white, they look tall white, that's just bodies they create to have as clothes, I guess you could say. Putting on a human body, like you would put on a shirt, because they're not human looking, they're not even fallen angels, they're grays. Tall grays. And so they create human-looking bodies to resemble the watchers that fell, humanoids. And that's how they appear to mankind. You know, they show Germain as a red-haired and mustache, and he's the one who works behind the scenes in all the global politics and economics. They all know Germain, because he's the one he's a politics guy. He's the money man. He's a tall gray. They all are. Ashtar Command. The Ashtar Gray Command. Who are they? The Grays are the offspring of Lilith and Solomon, King Solomon. She used to seduce him You can read it in Song of Solomon, I think it's chapter 2, where he talks about his lover at night, or whatever. He would meet her in the night, or whatever. That was Lilith. He was talking about Lilith. Chapter 1, he was talking about Queen Sheba. And in chapter 2, he was talking about Lilith. He had offspring with her. And she would have them in space, because her home was in space on Shema. And they were the tall grays. That's why the tall grays are the founders and controllers of Freemasonry. It's not the reptilians. It's the tall grays. A lot of reptilians in Freemasonry. But when you get to the highest level of Freemasonry, they reveal to you that a tall gray is the Grand Master. Because that G and the little compass symbol they have, people think it's God, it could be Grand Master, it could be Germain. The Grand Master, the architect of the New World Order, Germain. There's Saint Germain and the Ashtar Command. He's the money guy. He's the politics guy. He's the one who's created and crafted the whole thing, the whole New World Order. It's Ben Germain. Sananda is the false Christian Messiah. Maitreya is the false Muslim Messiah. Lilith is coming as Mary Magdalene, going to play the fake Jesus' girlfriend. They're going to find a role for her. She needs a role. So they're trying to say Mary Magdalene and Jesus had a relationship, whatever, so Lilith can worm her way in. This is like a soap opera now, you know. And Mary will be played by Eve, because Eve is still with them. She's with the Ashtar Command. She left the Father. She left, turned her back on the Father. She left Adam. She left her kids. She went back to Lucifer, had more kids with him. That's why she created her own country, the Indians. And she lived in the city they had built over in Samaria, ancient Iraq. I think if you looked at the Persian Gulf, you would find a mountain. Because usually when there's water, it's hiding something. And I think they buried that initial mountain underwater. There's a mountain. I can feel it. It's hard to explain, but there's something there under the water that was ancient. Probably something ancient of Lucifer's. But that was a very high-tech city on Earth. People wonder why archaeologists are digging up batteries and watches and cell phones and laptops from thousands of years ago. Nothing we have today is new, folks. It was already created back when. They just destroy it and then restart it again, so they can always have constant money makers on the Earth. They know exactly what to invest in, so they can always be rich and have all the money. Because you build it, and then you destroy it. And then you build it up again. And then you destroy it again. See how the cycles are? That's why you see helicopters on ancient cave drawings. What's that helicopter doing on there? Does that guy have a watch on? Mm-hmm. If we even knew half of our real history, I think people would be amazed. You know, I would.
All'umanità che percepisce sempre più di essere parte di un destino equilibrio tra realtà locali e realtà globali, equilibri che il G7 può contribuire concretamente all'adempimento degli obiettivi. Si rivela utile questo appuntamento capace di associare tempestivamente l'America come l'Africa. Avvertiamo bisogno crescente. Siamo nel tempo che l'uno di questi giorni ha compiuto orribili stragi dal Regno Unito. Siamo nel tempo che. Siamo nel tempo che. Siamo nel tempo che. Siamo nel tempo stragi dal Regno Unito. Siamo nel tempo che.
But when you get to the highest level of Freemasonry, they reveal to you that a tall gray is the Grand Master.